Okay, I just gotta say one thing, and I'll elaborate more on it in a second, but what Bergamo said at the end of this fight, after his fight with Goku, I gotta say I kind of agree with him, and it felt a little bit misplaced and campy for the whole, hey, campy music of Goku after he defeated Bergamo, and I'll elaborate more about that here in a bit. But let's talk a little bit about, because now we're seemingly done with the preliminaries. I mean, granted, we have this cliffhanger with Topo jumping in, I'm the warrior of justice, and I'm just thinking to myself, bro, you realize the amount of peril you just put yourself in by jumping in here. But let's talk about the 3 preliminary matches we've had thus far in this little, mini beginning of the tournament, or the pre-tournament, shall I say, the preliminaries. We had Majin Buu versus Bazil, we had Gohan versus Lavender, and then we had Goku versus Bergamo. And I gotta say, between the 3 fights, I think honestly it was in order of how they played, that the quality of them, because I think Majin Buu had the best fight, I think Gohan had the second best fight, and I think Goku had the worst of the 3 fights. Not necessarily that it was a bad fight, but ultimately what I'm referring to is the fact that I think Goku had the least amount of struggle, for starters, and that's probably why it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, granted, he was, tussling around or whatever, but the thing is, Bergamo's tactic and, his little quirk, shall I say, his special power of turning bigger and using Goku's power against him in a way, it just kind of felt a little bit like you're just making yourself a bigger target. We've seen this time and time again in different stories, even not just anime and manga. When a villain or a person uses their power to turn themselves gigantic, all they do is make themselves a bigger target, and Goku used that to his full advantage. But also Goku just went completely in, which also we got to talk about Goku seemingly being able to use his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken transformation, which was pretty fucking awesome. But, in comparison to like Majin Buu versus Bazil, I love the way that one played out, because Majin Buu just went completely, utterly savage against that motherfucker when he found out about Mr. Satan getting hurt. It was like, it was a wrap for him. Gohan's fight, it was pretty awesome too. I think the problem with Gohan's fight, why I wouldn't, rank it above Majin Buu's, was, first of all, in the ending, it was straight robbed, but also it was like, it was mainly just to prep Gohan for what he really needs to do, and I think his fight was still pretty awesome as well, but it wasn't as good as Majin Buu's. And Goku's fight, again, it was a good fight. It wasn't a bad fight or anything like that. There wasn't really no ass pull, but it was kind of like, you could tell that Bergamo really wasn't the biggest challenge for him. I mean, for the most part, he was fucking around in Super Saiyan form and, like, just trying to feel him out, see how strong he is or whatever. And then at the end, he was just like, okay, let me just go full power and dust this motherfucker out of here real quick. And once he went Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, it was a wrap for good old Bergamo. So I was like, we'll have much better fights from Goku from here on out, because again, these are seemingly the weakest of the weak. And how are you gonna throw a challenge? Like, even Bergamo was like, yeah, I might be from the lowest ranked universe, so to say, but I'm strong, and your quirk wasn't strong enough. Now, I mean, as a whole, the episode, it was all right. Again, it was a good episode for the most part. It wasn't just like the greatest, but it wasn't a bad episode either. It was just like, it was okay, because Goku just really was fucking around. Now, talk quickly about the whole thing with the gods are pissed, and going back to my point that was earlier mentioned in this video regarding the fact that Bergamo was right, is everybody is gonna hate this motherfucker. And while I gotta respect and I fucks with Goku's mentality of like, I don't give a fuck, if you just think about it for a second, at the end when Bergamo was like, yo, you really want to destroy the universe, is that bad, huh? Like, you're really gonna go all the way through with this, when he basically was like, you won, and now the whole little special rule that I put in there so I could try and save all the universes, you kind of fucked it over. And I'm thinking to myself, what did Goku accomplish by doing this, other than, yeah, you're gonna have stronger fights and shit like that? But honestly, I really think that Goku should have just took the L for the fate of all the universes. And in a sense, what Goku is doing, assuming the fact that he doesn't have a deal with the Omni King, and he's not aware, let's just say that, oh yeah, the Omni King is not gonna destroy everything, it's just a bluff to get everybody to go their hardest, which, I mean, we've seen the Omni King, he has the capabilities of doing whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, go back to the Goku Black arc, he annihilated that universe just because he thought Zamos was a piece of shit, which granted, he needed to do that because Zamos was just out of control, but nevertheless, the Omni King, I don't think he's gonna play around when it comes to destruction. He loves a little bit of destruction. Look at the beginning of this arc, him and the other Omni King, they're both fucking flicking planets and destroying them like if it's a game, like a little pastime or whatever. So I don't think necessarily they're gonna play around. So essentially what Goku's doing is kind of like, just put it in this perspective. He's like, yeah, let's let Majin Buu and Cell, and let's let them get powered up, and let's have a good old time, even though they have the potential of destroying and killing everyone that I love and, you know, just everyone in the universe, but let's have a good time. That's essentially what Goku's doing right now, and it's kind of like, it's a bit fucked up. and it's I don't know. I gotta start off with asking you guys that question. What do you think about what Bergamo said? And what do you think about Goku not taking the L? I mean, granted, the Omni King said, I still want Goku to do his best, but Goku could have kind of like, you know, gave it his all in a way, but also at the same time just ultimately take the L. So that way we can have just a normal tournament. And I mean, granted, it wouldn't be the most interesting plot, but as far as Goku's character goes, I mean, he's kind of always been like, he wants a good challenge, but he's never went to the point of just, you know, absolutely putting everybody, including other universes that have nothing to do with his little hobby, in jeopardy. So it's an interesting thing to look at Goku's character, of how far he's gone and how far he will go to have a good challenge. And I'm kind of curious what you guys think about this. Do you think Goku made the right move by just completely and utterly destroying Bergamo so that way, you know, he can continue fighting on? Or do you think that, yeah, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, if you look at all the gods in attendance, they're all talking around there, like, you know, the clown and the female and all this shit, Vermouth and all of them, they're like, what the fuck is he doing? So when the real tournament comes on, anybody that has a match with Goku, aside from the fact that they already seen this fight, which Goku better come with some new shit, because right now they already saw pretty much his best, well, what we seemingly think is his best, the Kaioken Super Saiyan Blue combo. So if they've seen him, they can kind of come up with different measures to counter what Goku's capable of. So that's another thing, and Goku doesn't have a special quirk, unlike a lot of these fighters. I mean, just look at what Universe 9 was doing. They all have their own special quirks, and I'm imagining we're going to see more of that as the tournament progresses. Goku doesn't have that, so they can easily come up with something to fuck him over, and he just made enemies out of everyone in all the universes, which I don't think that's a smart move. And let's talk about Topo real quick as well, because at the end of the episode, Topo jumped in and he's like, nah, Son Goku, you gotta fight me. And just real quickly, the Omni King is kind of shocked there. You have the Grand Priestess looking at him like, yo, what the fuck you think you're doing? Even the bodyguards jumped in front of the Omni King like, whoa. You think they're gonna take kindly to that? These guys are savages. They're not the nicest people, especially the Grand Priest. I think low-key he's a scumbag, you know, and that's been par for the course with theories surrounding this character for a while now, that he's possibly a big villain or he's just a fucked up person, whatever the case may be. So Topo jumping in there, I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a single fight that's gonna go down with him and Goku right now. Maybe he just gets utterly obliterated by either the Omni King, the Grand Priest, or maybe we might see in action, you know, those two bodyguards that jump in front of Zeno from time to time. I think this would be the perfect opportunity as well if the Omni King says, hold on, you're trying to fuck with my friend, which I guess Goku would probably be his best friend at this point, and on top of that, you fucking with my tournament? Yeah, my prediction is if Goku doesn't just completely jump in and beat the fuck out of him, probably the Omni King is going to deal with him, although I don't know how the Omni King would deal with it, like, you know, him personally, either one of them, where his powers is too extraordinary. Like, if the Omni King wanted to do something about it, he would have to explode and take everybody around them with him, so maybe that's not the best idea. But again, as a whole, good episode. Goku's gonna have way bigger challenges in the future. Bergamo's downfall is the fact that he thought becoming bigger and using, you know, my opponent's powers is really like, bro, Goku had you long time before the second you decided to use that power. So yeah, I want to say maybe a 7 to a 7.5 out of 10 for this episode. Art was also wonky in a couple places, and I just gotta throw this in there as well. Beerus just makes me fucking die laughing. The more dire the situation gets, like, even when we're hearing about the rules and, you know, that Goku's not a good team player, which I like the fact that he plugged in. Well, that's what we got Gohan for. He's great at that, which the books is coming in handy now, huh, I guess, right? Like, Beerus's reaction is just like, oh, rules. It's classic, because we're seeing the guy that when this series all started, when we even, you know, had Battle of Gods and he came down, he was the almighty force to fuck with, and now we have people that make him even tremble in fear. So that's something to note. But kind of curious your overall thoughts. Which fight of the 3 preliminary fights do you think is the best? Was it Majin Buu versus Bazil? Was it Gohan versus Lavender? Or was it Goku versus Bergamo? And your thoughts on this Topo situation. You think Goku's gonna have to fight him, even though Goku's probably a little bit tired? Or do you think that the Omni King's gonna jump in? And also, what do you think about Goku using the Kaioken technique against Bergamo? Do you think that he's mastered it now? Like, what's up with that? And your overall thoughts of the episode. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.